The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Hi, and welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I'm the founder of the Food Truck Training Group on Facebook, co-owner with my beautiful wife, Melissa, of our own food truck. It's called Food Truck 101. And I'm the executive director of the National Street Food Vendors Association, which is a nonprofit dedicated to education, advocacy, and uplifting all food vendors. Today, we're going to be talking more about creating a point of difference in your business so that your guests absolutely cannot miss your business. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys I'm going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada this year on July 15th and 16th. I'm going to be a part of the Food Truck Owners Expo. I'll be giving 2 classes. I'll be kicking off the campfire sessions. And of course, I'll be out on the main expo floor in my National Street Food Vendors Association booth where you guys can come and join me, hang out, have a good time, take some pictures, ask me any kind of questions you got, and just absolutely have a great time there in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you'd like to buy some tickets, please go to FTOexpo.com, put in the code FTTG15 for a 15% discount. Do you think that your food truck has a killer product, and yet you'll set up beside someone else who sells a similar menu? Certainly not as exciting as yours, but they have a line of people and you are dusting cobwebs off your window? Sometimes it's not about the food, it's about how loudly and how clearly you tell the story. So your point of difference is useless if your guests don't know about it. So you might do something that's absolutely awesome that no one else is doing, but if your guests don't know you do it, they're not going to try your food. So I know a vendor who has an amazing brisket. It's great recipe, but he has no signage, no story, no buzz. He's not busy. And he'll set up next to a loaded mac and cheese truck that has flags and loud branding and a consistent line. And then he goes and tries the food and it's just okay. He can sell a loaded mac and cheese with brisket, but the other dude's busy and he's not. According to the QSR magazine, 85% of consumers say that brand familiarity greatly influences where they choose to eat, even when the price and the quality are similar. It's not enough for you just to be different. You must shout your difference from every rooftop, every social media, every menu board, and every post that you do anywhere. You gotta say how you are different. There's 6 ways that you can market your point of difference. So let's talk about those 6 different ways. Menu board messaging. Feature your unique items first and highlight it visually. We talk about putting a box around it, putting it in a different color, putting something that makes people's eyes go there first. And that should be not only your unique item, but your profitable items. Because you want to sell a bunch of those. You want people to see them and notice them first. For example, if you've won one of those vanity awards where it says you're the best chicken sandwich in our area, then brag about that. If you haven't won that award, then put a box around it. Even say, Bill says this is the best chicken sandwich ever. And you could be Bill, because they'll ask you, who's Bill? And you'll, that's me. Make people look at the menu and then have a question about it. Well, who's Bill? Use arrows, use frames, use color splashes, use something to make people notice that product. That's a point of difference. Your point of difference should also be obvious from a good distance away. For example, if you're a vegan truck, might want to be mostly greens. Smoked brisket, well, you want to make sure that smell, that aroma is wafting away from your food truck so it draws people to you. That's why so many barbecue people have that porch. Now, whether they're barbecuing all day long or not, doesn't matter. There should be something in there sending out some smoke. The right aromas in that smoke make people hungry. You want to use big fonts, bold colors, one clear theme. I've looked at a lot of menus where every single product has a different font or a different color. So now it just looks like a jumbled up mess as opposed to single color, single font, but the one thing you want people to notice has a different font in a different color. How about social media storytelling? Your posts should consistently tell the why behind your difference, your point of difference. Behind the scenes stories. Where do you source your ingredients? How do you build your recipes? What makes you a little bit different? We only get this one ingredient that comes from wherever. Certainly have guest testimonials. So when somebody tells you that, hey, I love your sandwich, ask them, please leave us a review. Please share it on your social media. Tell me why you like it. Because if you do, I will talk about you in my posts as well. How about just doing the did you know facts? Remember that old commercial? Talk about what you do that makes your food different and better. Did you know that we source our bread from this local bakery? Did you know that we only import this particular product from Italy to make our Italian food so much better? How about the interpersonal interactions, the in-person interaction? Somebody comes up, how are they treated? So you want to train your staff to talk about your point of difference, but in a casual way. When somebody comes up and they have that, what do I want? Just have your staff say, hey, did you know that we source all of our beef from the local farm just down the road? Hey, did you know that we use the local bakery? They bake our bread fresh every single day. Did you know we use this farm to get all of our vegetables and we cut them up every day fresh? Those type of things keep people focused on what your point of difference is. If you're not reminding people what your point of difference is, they're not going to know. Not everyone reads your social media and comes to you and goes, hey, that was an awesome post about that local bakery. I'm ready to buy something. So you need to remind them, hey, if you saw that social media post, we still do use that same bread. How about having a loyalty program and promotions? Reward guests who buy into your point of difference. So for example, if your edge, your point of difference is everything is scratch made, do your punch card, but then the punches would be 10 homemade meals equals 1 free dessert. 10 homemade meals equals 1 free homemade meal. Do the punch card and have it point out your point of difference. Buy 10 sandwiches that include the local bakery and you'll get 1 free. You want to align yourself with events that match your brand, that make sense. So certainly if you're a vegan truck, you're going to vegan festivals. If you're a plant-based truck, you're still going to those vegan festivals. If your food makes sense to be sold at a brewery, then you need to be hanging out on the craft beer night at local breweries. And you can also do co-branded special nights like local farm night, where you can talk about we buy stuff from the local farm for meats or local produce or local bakery. Create an event that's around what you do and then advertise it. You can't just make one post and say, hey, we're doing a local farm event. Come check us out. Build up to it. There are things that you can do to either encourage your social media posts going viral or at least get the buzz started. So, for example, a grilled cheese truck makes a grilled cheese that weighs a pound. So it's got a bunch of cheese on it. So they set up a scale, just let people weigh their grilled cheese sandwich. Here you go. Look, it's a pound. So here's some mistakes to avoid when you're talking about that point of difference. Don't be too subtle. If a guest has to guess what makes you special, well, you're losing sales. Overloading the messages. Pick one major point of difference and hammer it home. You can't list 5 things and confuse the guest. Burger King was that perfect example. They started all at once. Thomas's English Muffins. They started baked potatoes. They started chili. They started tacos. And it just led nowhere. As soon as it was taken off the core menu, which meant that the franchisees were not required to carry those products, they were dropped. So you can't start, hey, this line of product here, breakfast we got this, and then we'll do this at lunch and do this at dinner. It doesn't work that way. Pick something and then hammer it home. You can't have a bunch of different things because all it does is confuse your guests. You're not different, you're just confusing. Just because you said it once doesn't mean that everyone heard it. Repetition builds memory. Hi, welcome to Burger King. Would you like to try a Whopper value meal today? I said that literally thousands of times. And it doesn't give me permission to that very next guest to go, can I take your order? Because that guest may have never been to a Burger King before, and now they've got a bad impression. And if you feel like you have said, yes, cheese comes on that sandwich 1,000,000 times, it's okay. Say it with the same enthusiasm as you did that very first person that asked, and hopefully you were enthusiastic, as the last one. It may be old to you, but it's not old to them. So we spent 2 episodes talking about a point of difference. Your point of difference needs to be loud. It needs to be obvious. It needs to be in somebody's face. You need to market it. So your menu design, your branding, your social media, your guest interactions, and any partnerships that you have with the farms or the bakeries or wherever. It's all about, if you really truly believe you have a point of difference, you got to remind people every single day. Go to Burger King. I hate using Burger King so many times, but go to Burger King. You're going to see something that's got flame broiled on it somewhere. Go to Chick-fil-A. You're going to see a whole bunch of people outside ready to take your order and move you through that line. And they're going to be friendly about it. They're going to have that courtesy that is so lacking in a whole bunch of other places. That's their point of difference. They're fast and they're friendly. That's why I talk about quality, service, cleanliness, and community. Quality is hot and fresh. Or cold and fresh if it's something that's supposed to be cold. But it's fresh. Those 2 components always have to be there. Service is always fast and friendly. Fast and friendly. Cleanliness is always sanitary and sparkling. People should be able to look at your business and go, yep, that's clean. They don't need to look for the details. It should strike them in the face that, yeah, it's clean. community is building that community, both the civic community where you're a part of it, and then the community of people that follow you. It's all about those things. Get those right, and you'll have a real point of difference. Otherwise, you're just like all the other food trucks that line up. I'm selling barbecue. I'm selling chicken wings. I'm selling burgers. And then there's 10 others selling burgers, selling chicken wings, selling barbecue. What is your point of difference? Thank you guys so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding everything helpful, please consider subscribing. And if you love what we do, please show us some support. There's a link in the description to make that happen. Until next time, you guys have a profitable day.